Thanks for joining us in the UHC Nutrition Kitchen. Today we're going to be making a Scrappy Frittata, which is a recipe that's just ideal for using up leftover veggies and odds and ends that you pull out of the fridge. Today we'll be using some baby spinach, which is a super nutritious leafy green vegetable, great source of iron, calcium, vitamin K, magnesium, potassium, you name it. Great source of dietary fiber as well. I've got some leftover chopped up tomatoes and red bell peppers. Astute viewers might notice those red peppers come from another cooking video we've done recently. I've got 4 eggs. These are from some chickens that we have in our backyards. They're a little bit smaller than a grocery store egg, but they're very delicious. I've got a couple nubs of cheese that I wanted to use up, so I'm just gonna chop those up. And then I've got this corn, so my corn is the big leftover ingredient. We cooked it the other day. And then some small curd cottage cheese. You could also use plain Greek yogurt or milk in its place. This recipe is kind of a loose guidance, very adaptable. So first we're just gonna get that corn off the cob. So you might remember doing this, you know, as a kid or as an adult, where you stick a bowl upside down in a bigger bowl, and then we can kind of prop that corn up on the upside down bowl. Makes it a little bit easier to chop up. Placing that bowl upside down is just going to give you a little bit of height so that you can easily slice those corn kernels off of the cob, and then they just land nicely in that mixing bowl. This recipe, as I said, is really more of a guideline. You can use more veggies, less veggies, really any kind of combination within reason, and I feel pretty confident in saying it's going to turn out great. We can substitute things like milk, Greek yogurt, or cottage cheese pretty interchangeably. So if you've got any kind of variation in that, whatever you need to use up, you can kind of throw it in this recipe. Just running through my second ear of corn. So this was something that we had corn on the cob yesterday, and I didn't want to waste these 2 ears, but we also didn't really want to eat them. So definitely something that can rescue some food from going to waste and help you be a little bit more efficient. So now that we've got all our veggies, just gonna run those in our about teaspoon or so of olive oil, saute them. I added a couple seasonings, just kind of winging it, some garlic powder and some everything but the bagel seasoning, and then threw in the spinach until it wilted and just really let that cut down. So while that was cooking, we're just gonna whisk our eggs together. So make sure you do that quick back and forth motion, really trying to agitate as much as you can to emulsify the eggs. Once you've got all 4 eggs whisked together, you can go ahead and add your cottage cheese or milk or Greek yogurt, whatever you happen to be using. So you whisk those together, and just know that if you're using the Greek yogurt or cottage cheese, it's still going to remain a little bit lumpy, and that's okay. So you don't need to completely whisk out those curds or lumps. It doesn't need to be a smooth mixture. When it cooks down, those will all kind of even out. So just kind of stir that together nicely. And then once that's all combined, you can go ahead and add those veggies that have finished cooking by now. So we've got our corn, our spinach, our tomato, and red pepper. And we're just gonna pour those into the bowl and mix them around, smooth it out, get everything kind of well distributed. And then we'll be ready to pour it into our greased pan. So I use a square 8x8 pan. I've used 9x13s and 9x11s, just depending on how many eggs are in there, but whatever you do will turn out fine. It probably is going to take be a depth of about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch, the mixture. Now that we've got it all in the container that we're using, I'm just going to go ahead and drop my cheese on top. So this time, since I had those couple little nubs of cheese laying around, I just chopped them up roughly. Obviously you can tell they're not real even, and I'm just going to scatter them over the top. So you could definitely use shredded cheese. You could use something like Parmesan, or you could use a softer like goat cheese or something like that maybe, and stir it in. But it really could be anything depending what flavor profile. Feta is really good in this as well. So I'm just kind of taking a second to make sure they're all kind of spread out evenly, and then we're going to pop it in the oven. So my oven has already been preheated at 375, and I'm just going to pop it in there for 25 minutes. Excuse my messy oven, and then I'll take it out. I ended up cooking it for about 28 minutes, and here's our end result. It's going to be perfect for breakfast, lunch. You can freeze it. It keeps well in the fridge. Great meal to have as a backup plan. Something I love to do is bring it for breakfast, and if I don't have time to eat breakfast, I can eat it for lunch. So the Health Promotion Department at the University Health Center is here to offer you support and keep you connected during spring 2020. So please, for more information on our virtual programs, check out our Be Well UGA at homepage.